Minakami, the Lost Village. Located somewhere in Japan's northeast, rumours have long spread that a terrible massacre took place here on the day of a festival, and after that, the village vanished. Disappeared not just from the maps, but from the face of the planet itself. This week, we're not going to take a look at the events of that fateful day, as we've already done that numerous times now, but rather, we're going to take a look at the village itself, some of its history, its peculiar layout, and why exactly they give birth to so many twins that end up being sacrificed. Minakami is called All Gods Village in English, which is a pretty apt translation of the Japanese characters, which mean all or everyone, and kami or god. Its exact location is unknown, but we're told it's in Japan's northeast, and it's not too far from the Himuro Mansion and Kuze Shrine, which isn't to say they're neighbours, but in the grand scheme of things, all these locations are decently close. Now, Makabe Seijiro, a folklorist, reveals some interesting information about Minakami in his writings. These writings were collected in an old Japanese guidebook for the game, but he notes that he once visited a village in the Hokuriku region, where the villagers performed all sorts of rituals, festivals, and sacrifices to stop a nearby hellgate from opening and bringing about disaster. When he hears about Minakami, he finds it interesting that they hold similar beliefs, and wonders if the two groups may be related through blood. Or, if not, did such customs related to hellgates simply exist all throughout Japan? While we don't know if the Minakami villages are related to this other village, and considering the great distance between them, that seems unlikely, we do know quite a bit about their current makeup. The Kurosawa family are the head honchos around these parts, and it is the head of the Kurosawa family who acts as the ceremony master for their Hellgate-related rituals. Officially, the village doesn't have a chief, but for all intents and purposes, that's exactly what the Kurosawa family head does. Their crest is, of course, a butterfly. The Kurosawas also have several branch families who have been given their own names and even their own crests. These are the Kiryu, Tachibana, Osaka, and Tsuchiharas. The Kiryu family lives in one of the twin houses, which is where the twins who are to take part in the upcoming ritual live, as they prepare for it. The final head of this family was Yoshitatsu, the doll maker who was tragically killed by his own daughter, who also died shortly thereafter. However, the Kurosawa family later sent another family member to continue the Kiryu name, rather than let it die off entirely. The other twin house belongs to the Tachibana, and it was their sons, Itsuki and Mutsuki, who took part in the failed ritual that led to Saye and Yae being chosen next. We don't know a lot about this family, but they and the Kiryu share the same family crest, a Polonia branch, with the Tachibanas facing the right and the Kiryus facing the left, symbolizing their position as the twin houses. They are, obviously, incredibly important clans within the village. Then we have the Osaka family. Their house stands at the entrance to the village, and for good reason. They are the village's gatekeepers. To get into the village, you must first go through them. It is the Osaka family who decides who may or may not enter, and their house is even designed so that someone is able to stand guard at all hours and watch anyone coming or going from the village. Their family crest has a Myoga Jinja design, and although we're not told much about any particular family members, Makabe tells us that he was initially greeted by an old man with a big bushy white beard, who was presumably the Osaka family head. And finally, the Tsuchiharas. They were the law enforcers in Minakami, and they also managed several locations near their house that were related to the Crimson Sacrifice ritual, such as the storehouse and Misono Hill itself. We don't know a lot about this family's members either, but Fatal Frame 5 confirms the fallen woman is from the Tsuchiharas, and there is speculation that the broken neck woman may be a Tsuchihara as well. Their crest is a bunch of interlocking squares and diamonds. Makabe notes that in addition to these larger mansions, they are surrounded by smaller houses, and interestingly, each and every one of them faces the Kurosawa house, which is the largest in the village. It's like they're all standing watch over it, or perhaps something within it. Of course, the Kurosawa house is connected to the Hellish Abyss, the gate to hell. The location connecting our world to the other side. The reason they have to keep carrying out the Crimson Sacrifice ritual every few decades. Because if they don't, darkness will spew out of the gate and obliterate everything it touches. Then we have the Kureha Shrine and the Old Tree, also important to Minakami's customs. The shrine holds a secret passage leading out of the village that is locked or unlocked by the old tree outside. And it's in this old tree that the bodies of the remaining are kept after they die. We're told that long ago, some twin shrine maidens tried to escape here, but they were captured, killed, and the passage sealed, so that none might ever use it again. Arguably, one of the most important locations in the village, however, is Misono Hill, the first place you see before even entering the village. Here you can find a large stone pedestal surrounded by sacred ropes, and it was here that most villagers gathered during the Crimson Sacrifice ritual, during which time the stone cover would be removed so that the Hellish Abyss directly beneath it would be exposed to the sky above. Villagers and priests would chant here while the ritual took place down below. And after the village disappeared, it was here that those spirited away would first find themselves. The moment you step through the shrine gate on this hill, the way out disappears, and you're trapped in Minakami forever. And finally, you can find the Minakami Cemetery located between the Kureha Shrine and Misono Hill, with both connecting to it. There's nothing special about it, it's just a cemetery. Although, the remake confirms that the Umbral Mound, where we first see Makabe testing the camera obscura, can be found nearby. And speaking of Makabe, his writings on the village also reveal one more interesting thing that isn't addressed within the game itself: the kami that the villagers worship. While investigating what exactly is involved in the Crimson Sacrifice ritual, he wonders whether life and death in Minakami are controlled by the kami they worship. He insinuates that it's perhaps this kami who ensures that so many twins are born in the village, so that the ritual may continue to be carried out. But, at the same time, also notes that he has heard twins tend to give birth to more twins. So, perhaps this is just a natural result of the genetics out here, with everyone being related to the Kurosawas in some manner. Who is this kami? Is there even a kami to begin with? And if this kami was indeed behind the abnormal number of twins born in this village, well, they kind of did a poor job of it at the end there, didn't they? Only 2 suitable pairs for the most important ritual that allows them to continue even existing. A very poor job indeed. Now, if we remove ourselves from the in-game lore, of course, Minakami Village was inspired at least partly by the urban legend of Sugisawa Village. I have entire videos on that, so I won't get into it again here, but to very quickly sum it up, it's another tale of a village that disappeared from the maps, And indeed, when Mayu remarks at the beginning of the game, "Chizu kara kieta mura," that's pretty much exactly how Sugisawa is described. A legend that gained popularity in the 1990s, shortly before Fatal Frame 2 was made. Much like what happened in Minakami, stories claimed a man went crazy and killed everyone in the village in a single night. Then, the government wiped it from the maps, like it never existed. But you'll know you found it by the red shrine gate at the entrance, which has a stone shaped like a skull at its feet. Sounds awfully like the shrine gate you have to pass through at Misono Hill, doesn't it? And in the greater Fatal Frame universe, it's thanks to Minakami Village and its sacrifice that most of the Northeast still exists when you really think about it. Yae escaping led to the creation of the Hinasaki family, with Mafuyu and Miku eventually closing the Hell Gate beneath the Himuro mansion. Miku later moved in with Kurosawa Dei and helped her deal with that pesky Manor of Sleep business. Miku and her daughter also played some part in solving the Mount Hikami disaster as well. So in a way, the blood of the Minakami villagers is still, to this day, keeping Hell Gates all over the Northeast closed. Tireless workers, those guys. We owe them many thanks. But what do you guys think of Minakami? Are there any other bits of lore you'd like to see me cover? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.